Hey, welcome back to DieCash Cars. So today I just want to give a shout out to all of you. So all of you who have subscribed to my channel, liked, commented, expanded on my topics, have given me constructive feedback. I appreciate it, and thanks to all your efforts, guys, DieCash Cars has now reached 1,000 subscribers. That is a major feat for us YouTubers. That is one that we've been eyeballing since the day that we start our channels. And not only did I reach those milestones, guys, but I did it in 5.5 months. I exceeded 5,000 watch hours and over 120,000 views within that time frame, guys. So again, just hats off to you guys. Really appreciate it. And that's the kind of encouragement that's really going to push me to keep making these videos for you guys moving forward. So with that, I want to get into today's video, which is going to be a little bit more on the personal side, guys. Wanted to talk a little bit about the origin story of DieCash Cars. So me, my collecting journey, and how I've gotten here, just so that you guys get a little bit more information about me. And also, I do want to tack on a little bit of a snapshot as far as where I want to take this channel moving forward. So I didn't start heavily collecting until about 2018. Couple years prior to, my wife and I, we had our first kid, and then we were expecting our second. And at that time, guys, I was a huge car nut, mainly Subarus. You guys have seen in my other videos, I've always been a huge Subaru fan. And at that time, I used to drive around in a Subaru WRX STI. I mean, it was my pride and joy, but it just was not going to be a practical dad car. So I had to get rid of that, which meant that I was pretty much hobbyless for a period of time. I needed to pick something up, something that was less maintenance but could still keep me connected to the car scene. And I've always had small collections of diecast cars, Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Muscle Machines, and I figured what better time than now to expand on those collections, and maybe it be something that I can pass down to my kids in the future. So that's what I set out to do. I started to research a little bit on diecast cars, Hot Wheels specifically. You know, it wasn't until that year, 2018, until I learned what a super treasure hunt was. I started looking up eBay prices. You know, I wasn't too fazed by some of the prices that were out there. I mean, $30, $40 for a super treasure hunt at the time. It was a lot, I understand that, but at the same time, I was paying thousands of dollars for car parts prior to this, so this was kind of pennies at that point. And it wasn't until the end of 2018 when I looked back at my collection, which I was happy with. It was a lot of nice pieces and there was a lot of eye candy to keep me busy, but I looked at my bank account and without even realizing it, guys, I had put roughly a $1,400 debt onto my account, and man, that just really took me back because I didn't realize it was going to be that expensive of a hobby. So obviously this was not a good situation. I had to change my routines and my patterns within this hobby, otherwise it was not gonna last very long for me. And then one day it just hit me. I had an eye-opening experience. I was just perusing through Facebook Marketplace, and there was a local gentleman who was selling a lot of cars. It was a bunch of Muscle Machines and some other Jada older model cars from back in the 90s and early 2000s, and he only wanted $30 for it. And within that set were these 6 Muscle Machines JGTC cars, the full set of 6. And if you guys know anything about these cars, they pretty much range anywhere from $30 to $40, even to this day. That's about where they are, if you can even find them anywhere in the market. And I mean, it was a no-brainer. I called them as fast as I could. I dropped by his place. I picked them up. I also chit-chat with him a little bit. He was a good guy. You know, he had explained to me that what he does is he goes and buys abandoned storage units, and this just so happened to be in a box and one that he had purchased that day. So I think he knew that they had a lot more value than what he wanted, but he said that that was a common practice for him, was to, you know, certain items that he doesn't have a lot of knowledge about, he's more than willing to pass them on to somebody that does, and so that they can actually enjoy them. And I just thought that was, you know, very respectable of him, and you know, that really shaped how I treat my customers or folks that I sell things to, you know, even to this day. But you can say that the epiphany that I had with this whole situation was around how much money that I actually spent on this set, So primarily just this JGTC set. If I were to pay top dollar for this set on the secondary market, I'd be paying upwards of $200 to $240, and here I am picking it up in a larger lot with other cars for just $30. And you know, I made it a goal, if not a requirement for myself moving forward, that anytime I pick up cars, I have to try to get them for less than what they're worth. And in all honesty, that is almost just as fun as collecting the cars themselves. I mean, if you can find a good bargain, I feel like, or at least for me, it just makes me appreciate those cars so much more. Whereas in the past, I've purchased cars at top dollar and I tend to resent them after a while, just because I knew that I paid so much more for them. And you know, there were opportunities that would come up that would be a lot more affordable, and I totally missed it because I already spent so much on certain cars, right? So again, it just made me think that, you know what, I need to be more patient in this game. I need to look for good deals. I need to do a little bit more bargain hunting. I need to get cars under market price, as close to retail as possible, and even under retail if I can. And even beyond that, could you get cars, add them to your collection, and make a profit at the same time? Is there a way to do all that all at once, right? And that is essentially what started the DieCash mentality. The thought process of getting cars for less than what they're worth. And there's a number of ways you can do that, whether it's bargaining for good deals, or selling certain pieces out of your collection that have grown a lot in value over a period of time, in which case you can use that profit in order to offset the cost of other purchases that you've made. It's basically a thought process that makes this hobby a lot more three-dimensional, in which there's so many different ways to get what you want the way that you want it, right? And the most important thing is that it keeps the hobby sustainable. So I will definitely touch on this in a later video, but again, today just wanted to give you that background story. So enough of that, let's give these cars a little bit of attention. So this was the Muscle Machines JGTC set that had come out back in 2004. And even though this set is almost 20 years old, I feel like these cars are very ahead of their time. I mean, just take a look at some of the details on this car. Opening doors, full detailed interior, full tampo work all the way around. Everything is licensed and licensed correctly. Very authentic compared to the actual race cars coming out of this series. I mean, they really don't leave out too much detail here. I mean, even down to the wheels, they're pretty much spot on to the advanced wheels that come on the actual car, and these do have disc brakes that stay stagnant when the wheels move. So I mean, they did a really good job on these cars almost 20 years ago. They would almost give mountain drifters a run for their money at this point. And then as far as the other 6 cars in the set, you got the Takata Dome NSX, the MRS, the Daishin Advan Sylvia, the Esso Ultraflow Supra, again the Amamiya RX7, and then the Wet Sport Celica. So the thing about this set too is that it's actually relicensed Muscle Machines, and the actual maker of these cars is Tamiya, which is a Japanese brand. And the interesting thing too is that they actually created a second series of these cars, which includes a couple other NSXs, a Supra, and there's actually an R34 in that second series. So definitely a set that I'm looking to add to these if I could ever come across them. So moving forward with my channel, guys, I think I'm going to continue doing what has made this channel so successful, and that's really just talking about investing in diecast cars. I'm going to continue to give you guys examples of deals that I make, give you guys tips, give you guys reference points. I'm going to continue talking about market trends. I'm going to talk about new releases and how those impact current prices, future prices. But the one thing, guys, is I won't be going too deep into all the details as far as the tampo work and the colors and the re-releases. There's plenty of channels that are already doing that and doing a great job on that. And those are a lot of the details that I think you guys already know. I plan on covering hot button topics that come up within the collecting community, like you guys have seen videos that I've produced in the past about scalpers and tips on finding super treasure hunts. So that's what I got for you guys today. Again, I appreciate you guys for supporting this channel to get it to this 1,000 subscriber mark. I'm gonna hold my end of the bargain and keep pushing this kind of content for you guys moving forward. Continue to like and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you guys next time on DieCash Cars.